So last year, the Browns forgot to put offensive linemen on the team, and the ones that were here were pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be an entirely different offensive line this season. What do you think, Zach? Ultimately, when the season starts, assuming health, what do you think their best offensive line is?
Well, I think they want Elgton Jenkins to play center. Now, we don't know that that's the best, but this is a guy that you made a pretty big commitment to.
Yeah.
He had 2 Pro Bowl seasons as a left guard earlier in his career, but he played center last year. And part of the reason he did that is he thought he would get paid more as a center.
Right.
So it didn't work out. He only made it through half the season, but he's the center. Zion Johnson was your first free agent, the guy you made the most money to, presumably outbid other teams.
Yeah.
He's been best as a left guard. He wants to play left guard. Tytus Howard has played all over the line. The guy's been in the league a long time. The Browns traded for him, made a commitment to him past this year, giving him the money that the Texans weren't going to give him, so he's your right tackle. So if it goes haywire, performance or injury, you have 2 guys who are proven can be that, but you would like to have your 5 and build it. So as soon as they drafted Spencer Fano, they said he's our left tackle, which he played 1 year in college, one of his 3.
Yeah.
He's 21, he's athletic, he has the traits of doing that. I don't think he has the top traits, or you never got him 9 overall. But you want him to grow into that role. And then they have Teven Jenkins, who they brought back. Now, they brought him here last year because versatility was part of it.
Yeah.
And because he's been a pretty good player when he was healthy. He just was never healthy in his career before last year. Now, a lot of that was as a backup. So that is your 5. Last year, 25 of the 32 teams, the Browns obviously being one of them, got less than 50% of the season snaps out of the 5 that started week 1.
That is crazy number.
So you have to have those versatility, and you have to have that depth. So why are you drafting a center in the 5th round when you still have Wypler under contract? Why are you drafting a tackle in the 3rd round after you've traded out of the 3rd round? Because you just haven't had those guys. And of all the mistakes that were made last year, counting on DeJuan Jones and Cornelius Lucas as your left tackle options were a huge mistake.
Right.
So this year your left tackle options are Fano and Barber and DeJuan and maybe Elgton Jenkins. If you absolutely have to. Maybe Tytus Howard.
Or Tytus Howard. Much better option.
Much better
on paper. Is there a chance that Barber is the starting right guard?
I think there's some chance, but I think he will be trained at tackle and trained to kind of become the backup tackle. So if there's an early injury or underperformance, I would move him there. But I think he will spend the summer learning tackle. And it'll be kind of an emergency.
So he is their swing tackle and then eventually takes over for Howard at right tackle. Is that the thought?
Potentially. But they extended Howard 2 more years.
Yeah, that's true.
The Texans traded Howard because they needed to invest in other positions because Howard wanted more money. He was coming to the last year of his deal.
Yeah, but the Browns drafted him in the 3rd round. I mean, if he's not a starter eventually, that's a problem.
If you can draft a tackle at 86, you're saying this guy might – we just want this guy to be on the team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So all things equal, that's going to be your starting lineup.
Yes.
And how do you feel, Dustin? How are you feeling about that?
Well, I mean, obviously Zach knows these players inside and out. I don't know much about those offensive linemen. I know that my biggest concern is Fano. I mean, can this guy truly be the left tackle we need to have? I mean, drafted him top 10. He's played 1 year of left tackle in his career out of the 3 that he started, and we need him to be the rock on that line. I mean, those other guys, a lot of those guys are veterans and they've been in the league, and so they've played. This guy, welcome to big boy football at left tackle.
You know, the story has been, well, he moved to right tackle because the other kid that got drafted high
was a first-round pick also.
Was a first-round pick, and he had trouble moving to right tackle. Now, Sean King said to me, and I'd like your reaction, he goes, you know what? I get that that's the reason they said they did it, but if Fano was so good at left tackle, they would not have moved him.
I don't know that I agree with that because I
Okay.
think in college it's a lot less. I think especially the way Utah played, right?
Let's screw up his name, by the way. It's Fano.
Fano.
I did get it right. Then I
say it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mike, it's Fano, right? You had to tell me
Fano,
like 6 times.
Fano.
Yeah,
I still
no,
mess
you're
it
right.
up.
Yes, you're correct.
But yeah, I think that the way Utah plays, I think that they thought we need to get our 2 best tackles on the field. I don't think it was anything more than that. Look, when this guy played, he was a freshman All-American at left tackle.
Yeah.
And right away, he was projected as a first-round pick. Like, this did not just come out of nowhere. This is not some wild projection.
No, that's fair.
You know,
that's fair.
Based on his athleticism.
I think the only concern with him is he big enough? Can he pack on a little more weight, I guess?
I'd honestly rather have be more concerned about his athleticism than the size.
Oh, okay.
For me, as a
You don't think he's athletic enough?
No, I think he is athletic enough.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. You said you're concerned about his size. I'm more worried about
the
his
strength
athleticism.
will come naturally.
Yeah.
The strength and the refining will come naturally.
So then, I mean, I guess, listen, if all it's on paper, none of these guys have played together.
Yeah.
So they need to get a lot of reps in the preseason.
Well, and
together.
it won't be snap one on May 19th because Jenkins is recovering from the broken leg.
Okay.
And Luke Wypler also is just kind of being worked in. So you're going to have moving
Yeah,
parts.
so the kid they drafted late.
Parker Brailsford.
They have a guy they signed off Buffalo's practice squad who's going to play the center in the spring.
Over the
A
rookie.
fifth-round rookie's never going to come in and be starter on
that's
OTAs.
true.
It's just
Fair enough,
when they start, like Fano and Concepcion, it's going to be like, you guys are at the front of the line. But everybody else is earn your stripes. And maybe Boston will do that right away.
Yeah.
I don't know. But just in general, your first-round picks are in and everybody else is at the back of the line.
Wait your turn.
And in week 3, you look. That's why it was like, I remember last summer, it was with Harold Finn, and it was like, okay, well, he's moving up because they need him. Because they don't have anybody else.
Right,
and then
right,
you watch him a few practices, and it's like, no, he's moving up because
he's a baller.
they need him and because he can go.
Do you
Hey,
think
Zach, can I ask Zach a question real quick?
No.
Thank you. What are the chances, excuse me, what are the chances that when it's all said and done, Elgton Jenkins isn't the center and moves back over to the guard spot? I know you said they signed him to be a center, but he was a 2-time Pro Bowler at right guard at one point in his career.
At left guard.
Left guard, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So I think there's a chance. I mean, first of all, we don't know when he's going to be healthy, and he's 30. Now, he had been mostly healthy before. Last year, he broke his leg. He got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. But, I think if you're willing to make that move and you have options at center, we'll see. So he's signed to a 2-year deal that's really a 1-year deal, but they were willing to trade a pick before the Packers formally cut him.
Right.
Like they wanted this guy to be a part of the offensive line rebuild. And like I said, they traded for Howard a week before free agency started.
Yeah.
And 4 hours in, they signed Zion Johnson. So like they got their A choices for what was available.
Yeah.
Now good offensive linemen don't hit free agency these days without some special circumstances.
Yeah.
And Zion Johnson's 5th-year option was declined by the Chargers. But Elgton Jenkins over the course of his career has been a good player. You just worry because he was under contract.
Yeah.
And the Packers are in a Super Bowl window. So what happened? Was it the injury?
Right.
Did they just replace him?
Yeah.
You know what? I think we're going to find out.
That's a fair concern. I think on paper they'll be significantly improved. I mean, I think there's no reason they couldn't be a middle of the road offensive line, which is that's fine. I mean, you don't need to be the best.
You want to give your skill players a chance.
Yeah, right. Is that reasonable? That they could be a middle of the road?
Sure. Yeah. They had no depth last year, and we saw that.
Yeah.
They traded for KT Leviston for a 2028 7th-round pick on like August 26th, and on September 15th, the guy was starting.
Yeah.
Like, that is a nightmare
That's
scenario.
crazy, yeah.
That's not December 15th.
Yeah,
where you're
right.
picking guys out of the crowd.
Yeah.
Right? Like they've started, I think, 8 different guys at left tackle over the last 3 seasons.
8 guys.
It's been a revolving door.
Well, that's what happens when you blow the pick on Jed Wills, and he's a bust. Isn't he in camp with the Bears?
Yeah, the Bears.
He is, and he might start at left tackle because their left tackle is coming off a season.
Good luck to them.
Last year.
I know Bears fans are not happy. They think they had a bad
signing a
offseason.
guy out of 1-year flyer that's played in a lot of games is a lot different than drafting that guy in the top 10. And saying
true.
this is-
That's true. That's
And
fair
Jed Wills
enough.
should have every reason. He didn't play football last year, so
Yeah.
he didn't get a paycheck. So he
Right,
made a lot
right,
of money from the Browns, but like,
Yeah.
he should have every. He's still very young.
Yeah.
Like, he's 26 years old this week.
Right.
Like, he has every chance to.
He's still that young, and he's made a lot.
You
of
just
money.
can't find left tackles.
Right.
Like there's so few guys. That's why they all the good ones get drafted in the top 50.
What are your? I know it's a different position, but what are your expectations right now for KC, Concepcion, and Boston?
For Concepcion, they're high.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know exactly what the role will be, but like this is an explosive playmaker. And when he was a true freshman at NC State, Dustin, I don't know if you did any of the games.
Did
like,
not, but
this
I've
is
seen
a guy that was posting 100-yard games and highlight reel touchdowns every single Saturday. And obviously he's kind of blossomed from that. So you worry about the drops. You don't know his exact role, but this is an electric playmaker. Like, figure out a way to get the ball in his hands and let him create. They just didn't have that guy previously.
Like, does he have superstar potential in your opinion?
I think borderline, yes. I think he needs development, but I think he's bigger than Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
But I think that is a fair, like the Ravens said, Zay Flowers is explosive and has to grow as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah, he has.
He's sitting on a $50 million contract.
Right.